Well, Edward, I wish you the best, and thank you very much for standing up at the right time.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. This must be the hardcore attendees. You're still here on the last day. So hopefully you had a really good conference, got some new information, learned some things. Today I'm going to give a presentation and a talk on the new hydrographic standards that are coming out and show a relationship with how it affects the ports. I am with WR Systems Geonavigation Technologies Division. We've been supporting position navigation and timing for over 30 years. And I'll be talking about, I'm not a salesperson, but I'll be talking about some products that have solved problems in this domain. Again, I'll be covering the S100, which is a new hydrographic standard, data product standard that has an impact on ECDIS systems, which is electronic charting, display, and information systems, ECS, electronic charting software, as well as port pilot units, and port infrastructure. So you may or may not know that the IHO, the International Hydrographic Organization, is developing new hydrographic data sets that's going to be sunsetting S57, which is your current ENC for vessels, as well as other data products such as bathymetry and so forth. And S100 is a standard that allows hydrographic data to be put in a common data format model that supports interoperability and machine readable data format. There we go. So as I said, S100 defines the specification, but it allows for a suite of products to be developed. And as you can see here, this is just a subset. Right now, I believe there are 24 different products that have been developed. S101 is ENC, which is going to sunset S57, which is your current ENCs. S102 is bathymetry, which is going to sunset your current bag bathymetric data formats. S104, water levels, surface currents is S111, and so on and so forth. The ones that really start tying in and start touching the ports are S127, marine traffic management. Originally, the name of that specification was port traffic management, as well as S129, which is under keel clearance management. And I apologize, I did not put it in here as listing, but S131, which is port infrastructure. And so all these products can be overlaid and intertwined based on S98 interoperability product description, so that from an operator stance or from a vessel stance or an op center stance, they can see all these products and understand the situation that the mariner is navigating in. Also, which comes into play, is S421, which is route plans. Currently, they use RTZ format. That's going to be getting sunsetted, and the new specification will be 421. I heard a discussion on Tuesday about some of the scheduling issues coming in and out of ports, and how when there's delays, it affects how the port is scheduling vessels in and out. And I'll talk about some of the products that may or may not help alleviate that. Again, S100 is multiple products in a stacked layer configuration. There are multiple levels of interoperability. The simplest is level 0, where products are overlaid on top of each other. But they have to be compliant to a specific format. So you can't just overlay products willy-nilly for navigation and for an ECDIS. So the IHO and the IMO will be defining the valid presentations and the valid interoperability for these products. So level 1, the next level up, allows for these products to start getting intermingled based on their order and priority. So it gets much more complicated to the point with level 2, which is the third level, where now you have features that can be moved back and forth across sub-levels. But I'm not going to go into that because you don't really need to know that at this point in time, but it's just to be aware. So from our stance, we've been supporting the IHO and the IMO in the development of these specifications for 10 years now. We started developing commercial products about 8 years ago for these products. The reason being is we supported the IHO and the IMO of the development of the product specifications as well as the verification and validation of these products so that they're feasible and they work as intended for the mariner. The IHO and the IMO have been famous for developing specifications, publishing them and releasing them, which could not be attained or delivered the way that the product spec was developed by the OEMs. So we provide products and services. Again, I am not a salesperson. I'm just trying to inform you that there are companies out there that can help you when you start looking at this path, because it has an impact. So it has an impact to how your vessels are coming in and out of port, how they share data. If you have an operational center that's trying to look at and schedule vessels in and out of your port, well, you need to know their route plan, right? And you need to know their time of arrival. If there's a delay, then they automatically will generate an updated route information. How do you get that, and how does it affect your terminal, right? There are mechanisms being put into place and products to help with that. So this is kind of the nexus, the big picture of how all these products play and where they start to interact. The biggest products that I just want to cover, and I'm not selling my product, I'm just letting you know that there are products out there for you to consider. There are other vendors that are working on products that you can look at as well, and that's why we provide services. We provide services now for NOAA and NGA in the US to help them in their transition. If they use our products, great. If they use another one because it suits their mission better, then great. Our specific products are for the new S100 navigational products. We do support the legacy products because there is a transition plan. So from a timeline table, S100 products go into what they call a dual fuel mode starting in 2026, which means that ECTA systems have to have the ability to start using the S100 as well as support the legacy S57 and bathymetric as well as the route plans products at the same time. So how does that affect the ports? Well, now, if they start using these S100 products on their voyage plans, so now their formats are in, let's just say route plans are in S421, right? How can you take that information in, right? And be kept up to speed on the changes of that vessel's track. If you have no knowledge or understanding of S100 or don't have that into your infrastructure, there's going to be an impact. And so the dual fuel only lasts till 2029. And then all the legacy products are getting shut off. So what does that mean? So that means over time, you only have a certain amount of time for you to be able to understand and be able to utilize and work with the newer spec, or use the older specification until you're forced to use the new specification. The hydrographic organizations do not want to run 2 production lines. And so some of them stated that once they get their S100 production line or production online, then they're going to put a line in the marker regardless of the 2029 period and say you got 1 year. And so right now, a lot of us that support the IHO and the IMO are trying to educate everyone because it is coming. Both the IMO and IHO have agreed to a time frame, and so far they have not adjusted that time frame. Our technology is platform agnostic, so we don't care if it's on Windows, Linux, or Unix. We don't care if you're putting it up in AWS, on your localized server, running on a PC, based on our technology. So we have multiple products. The biggest one I think that this group might be interested in is Port Voyager. Port Voyager is specifically for ports. It's designed around port traffic management and under keel clearance. So vessels based on S101, ENC, bathymetric data, tides, currents, weather, vessel dynamics generate an under keel clearance route-specific route plan. And so it allows them to guarantee, or as close as possible, to guarantee they can go in and out of port without running aground. They also take in real-time data, right, for the dynamics within the port, as well as the port traffic management information. So when this new route plan gets generated, it shows them exactly their drive lanes that they can go in, what times they need to be at what waypoints, and it takes all this information for route-specific information. Why is this important? Because this can be shared back to the ports for synchronization and scheduling. The next product I want to talk about is Data Hub. So Data Hub basically brings in the real-time sensor information, allows for distribution. And I'll go real quick in a little while here through these products because I don't want to bore you. I know you've been sitting here a lot for the last couple of days, but this is more about education. And I'm hoping at the end of this you have questions, regardless if it's these products or any other products on S100, because it is coming and you're going to have solutions to help your port work more effectively and efficiency with the vessels. All of our products are based on this one product called GARC. GARC is a geospatial processing engine that is S100. What did I do? All right. That is S100 ECDIS compliant. So it doesn't matter if you're using our products as an ECDIS or just as in your op center or just as a mechanism to synchronize against your other system. But it's all based on this one kernel. This one kernel, working with the IHO and IMO, is getting certified as S100 compliant for ECDIS. This June starts the sea trials, and the sea trials go until November. And again, this kernel supports the S100 as well as the legacy products and already supports dual fuel mode. I already kind of spoke a little bit about Port Voyager, but the one thing I didn't say about Port Voyager, I keep hitting that, is that this also has an open API. So if you already have scheduling infrastructure, you can actually tie into Port Voyager to get the details you need for synchronization of vessels in and out without having an understanding of S100. Okay? And so the interface can be tailored to your already existing infrastructure. If you have a certain format, that's fine. But Port Voyager takes care of all the S100, the S100 problem. And this is just a quick view of it, one application. We use this with NOAA. We've worked with them on their big data project, taking in and ingesting a lot of different sensor information and then tracking vessels in and out of a specific area. Unify takes advantage and provides a different capability. Unify gives you the ability for your legacy applications to take advantage of the S100 data without having to solve the problem yourself. So for a legacy port pilot unit, or PPUs, or ECSs, or ECTA systems, if they have a web service capability and a web data service capability, all they have to do is tie into Unify. Unify does all the S100 stuff and provides information back as overlays for your display, as well as you have the ability to mine the metadata underneath. So for the port side for Unify, that's another application. If you have another command and control application that you already invested in, then a product like Unify allows you to go, okay, I don't need to switch this out. My operators already know it, understand it. We have the ability to take in overlays, and we have the ability to do web data services. So you allow Unify to bring in all the S100 products, and then you interface your legacy application into a product such like Unify. Data Hub is a dynamic data application that deals with real-time sensors. And so this is one application that we did with NOAA, basically taking in multiple locations of sensor information, aggregating that up, and providing redundancy across all of these locations. So at any location, you can see any sensor up and down the east coast of this location. We're working, and there's been discussions to aggregate that data on the west coast as well, and then have one common picture that has redundancy so you can get that information anywhere. So in summary, S100 is the new hydrographic products and data sets. It's coming out. There's an agreement with IHO and IMO with the timeline. It's going to sunset the legacy data sets and the products, and it does affect the ECTA, CCS, eNav, PPU solutions. And so that has an effect on the ports as well. So we do have products and services. There are some other OEMs that are out there. Some of the other OEMs are looking at our Unify so that they don't have to modify their solutions as well. So we are not the only player in town. There are the Transys, Furuno, OMC for ports, right? So I'm sure you're all aware of OMC. They are doing some work in this domain as well. Any questions?
I think they're worn out.
Yeah, I know. But I give them kudos for
there is
still
a
being
question.
here on Thursday. So.
So how does this affect the VDR systems? Does it have any changes as well as the tracking for that?
Say it again.
The VDR system?
Let's try it with a different mic.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. The VDR systems, how does this affect that? Have you got inputs, outputs, or concerns with that? Over.
There could be format conversions, right? So I will say in a lot of the legacy services, like the VTS and stuff like that, I didn't call those out specifically because I wasn't sure if we were going to get into it. There's other products, S100 products, that are out there that are solving that. So I did put in the briefing, and I'm sure, I would imagine everyone's going to get a copy of the brief, the IHO link in here, right, that you can go up and look at other additional products, because again, there's 24 products. The issue is going to be interfaces and protocols.
Thank you.
I have just one question, and that is, is it possible to share with us organizations that are already using this sort of thing?
Sure. So NOAA uses it. We're working with already existing OEMs, like I said, for our Unify products. They're trying to integrate it in, and so the idea is to their end user, it's their product that's taking care of it. So we're kind of acting in that role as behind the scenes. At the end of the day, if it solves their problem, then great. And so we have had talks with Danilic. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Danilic. About possibly doing an ECTIS, because ECTIS is software and hardware, not to go in on a side trail. We are only doing software. We're only solving the hydrographic data problem, right, and the geospatial navigation problem domain. But they have Enectus compliant hardware, and the possible idea is they can use our software. They can even say it's Danalex software. Our goal is only just to solve the problem.
Gotcha. Well, thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Any other? Yeah. I guess not. Let's have a hand for our speaker. Thank you so much.